Hello again, friends. Today I'm going to do another book review, this time on the third Piggy novel, Piggy Hunts. There isn't much wrong with the book or the story, but they did mention Bunny once again, and some parts of the story dragged out a really long time. But with those out of the way, let's get to the actual story then. So, we start with the story learning that the group has made a lot more of the cures, and Badgie has a crossbow now instead of with some... Basically, Badgie has a lot more range with his weapon now because he has a crossbow instead of his vial because he had to use that for the cure. But a bit of his vial is still with him because the cures are now cure darts in his crossbow. Anyway, they get called once they cure some of the infected that they were on a mission to do. They get called by Willow to come back to the safe place. Whenever they go back to the safe place, they get instructions to go to the hospital because there is a ton of infected over there that they think this is where the infection started from. So they go the next day, they go over and get to the metro. But whenever they go to the metro, they meet a really strange infected called Distorted Piggy. Distorted Piggy is decaying. But whenever Badgie shot it with the cure, it didn't cure it. Instead, it started talking and it just said, "Don't." This scared them, and there was a funny thing there. Whenever it said, basically, whenever the infected started talking, Ollie went up and was like, "Is that new to the canon?" And it reminded me of Miguel O'Hara from Across the Spider-Verse. Anyway, so they get really scared. They get on the train at the metro, leave Distorted Piggy behind, and go to the store. Well, whenever they go to the store, they have no supplies there because the store has been already raided. So anyway, but whenever they're about to leave, they see an alligator watching them. He has a backpack full of all the food and supplies from the store that was still there, that they were looking for. And it's Alphys from the sewer map. Okay, so anyway, after seeing him, he starts running, and then he leads them to the sewer, and then whenever they follow him into the sewer, he just disappears. They don't get any of his supplies. But whenever they leave the sewer, because they failed to find Alphys, they go over and sit down, eat the little bit of supplies that they had left. Eat the food that they had left, and look over the supplies they already had. When the store Piggy is back, it followed them. They had to cure some more infected a nearby store that this one hasn't been raided, and they get all the food and supplies that they still needed. With all the supplies that they have, they then go to the hospital, but there's like hundreds of infected living around it that call the outside of the hospital home. Anyway, they sneak around and find a way into the hospital, and whenever they get in, Billy and Badgie, they get caught outside by the infected, and they get dragged outside by some infected. This had one of my friends on Twitter really upset because they really like Billy and Badgie in the books. They're one of their favorite characters. Good news later though, okay? Anyway, so whenever they go further into the hospital, they see someone here has been experimenting with the infected. And they go further into the hospital, And then whenever they go further into the hospital, they see who has been experimenting with the infected. Mr. P is here, finally! Mr. P was... Also, Distorted Piggy is here too. Distorted Piggy was one of Mr. P's creations that he was experimenting with on the infected. And he tells them about basically the true ending of Book 1, that he started the infection and that basically, he started the infection because his wife got sick and he was trying to find a cure, and the cure didn't work how intended, and that caused the infection to start. Anyway, but after that, he turns out to be more of a bad guy than he is in the games, and, well, he tries to infect Ollie and Ben. But then the Silver Paul comes in and arrests Mr. P. They help. Whenever they bring Mr. P away, Ben for a second thought he seen the Insolence Eye on him. But they took him away before he can get a closer look. Anyway, now that Mr. P's gone, they try to help Distorted Piggy get uninfected. Because they're sentient again, and can actually talk and do things on their own, but they're still infected. And the cures do not work on them. But they also cure Mrs. P. We also learn at the Silver Paul, whenever they got here, they helped out Billy and Badgie, and they're okay now. And that's the end of the book. We have to wait for the next one. Overall, this book was fantastic, but I wish it went for more I wish it went 2 more places, because it only went to 5 places. 2 of those places twice. I can't wait for the 4th book to release, though, to continue the story. Anyway, remember to like and subscribe. See you in the next vid, friends. And if you want more stuff, come back. Come back and watch more stuff I upload periodically. But see you in the next vid, friends.